Hi. Before I continue, I want to give a quick disclaimer. Um, there should definitely be a trigger warning for this video. When I channeled this message, when I channeled this information this morning, I spent about 2 to 3 hours just crying, and uh, mourning the loss of innocence and the loss of life from both several beings on this planet, their inner child, but also of the children in the external. Um, it was a deeply, deeply, deeply emotional and painful energy that I was tapping into, and I had to take time to feel through it. Um, it took me hours, so I mean, it's really heavy, heavy stuff. But I just wanted to give a quick trigger warning. So. The how and why of black hole soul energies. It is my belief and understanding that we are birthed into the world in our truest, most pure and innocent form. You are the embodiment of your true soul essence, uncorrupted, unprocessed, natural, and raw. This life force energy you enter this realm in over time collects data and remembrance, creating a natural evolution of remembrance, birth from experience, alchemizing into wisdom. This is the natural evolution of a soul. You enter Earth School completely open and receptive, pure consciousness. That is Source, Life Force, God, Truth incarnate. You enter in a pure, unfiltered state of being. Earth School being the course to remembrance, the journey to awakening, the infinite knowledge and wisdom that already lives within you and around you. A course from open source to divine archive. That pure source energy you entered this realm embodying is a fractal of light, life in creation itself. Many refer to this life essence as being a soul. Another way to conceptualize it is by it being your inner child. Children are the most unapologetically unbound expressions of human and life essence. The black hole soul starts to form when a being disconnects from their self, therefore disconnecting from source. Their life essence and their inner child they also disconnect from. This normally occurs when a child experiences something so painful and traumatic that it causes a fracture, a split, a disconnect. It creates an internal split, and the being turns on what they believe is the cause of the unbearable traumatic event and pain. They turn on their inner child, and therein starts the re-traumatization and abuse process. The being turns in on themselves. They begin to target and maliciously abuse their inner child. They verbally, mentally, emotionally, physically abuse their life essence. They place their inner child inside of a cage, only visiting to carry out abuse and torture. They view that aspect of themselves, their innocence and vulnerability, their purity, as the core cause for their pain, as something unsafe, as something that needs to be stopped, that needs to be snuffed out. So they enact revenge. They slowly chip away at the innocence, stability, and safety of their inner child. They exploit, lie to, and corrupt it. They groom it, tempt it, lure it close, only to beat and berate it. They bruise it, starve it, devalue and degrade it. Their inner child grows weaker and weaker over time. It exists in a constant state of fear and survival. The more it begs for freedom, love, acceptance, comfort, safety, trust, and stability, the more it screams to be rescued and protected. The more violent and extreme the self-abuse and torture becomes, until their inner child is tortured into silence. Once silence ensues, some people carry out the unforgivable. They open their inner cage. They approach their sweet, innocent, vulnerable, beautiful expression of life, of creation, of innocence, of God. They approach their sweet inner child, beaten and bruised and battered, curled up on the floor of their internal cell, and they give it one final and fatal blow. They obliterate their sweet, innocent soul. And in that moment, they become the very monster that carried out the trauma that caused the original split, that cause the fracture. And the most dangerous and unfortunate truth of this process is that while they carry out this torture on their inner child, they mirror and carry out the same abuse on anyone outside of themselves that embodies what they are systematically destroying inside of themselves, especially children and the vulnerable and the innocent. And therein the black hole birthing cycle ensues. They steal and kill away their innocence. They blame for the pain. And they become walking graveyards and target and destroy anyone who reminds them of what they sacrificed within their light, their soul, their innocence, their purity. I understand now why these energies gravitated towards me and have enacted onto me the things that they have. While I too have experienced a lot of the same traumas that cause these black hole fractures in those around me, I was unable to fracture or split. I'm still very much the embodiment of my inner child, wholly and fully. Due to my neurological differences, I was unable to split, but I was surrounded by black hole energies that were wired to destroy the very energy I embodied. Because I could not split, I had to adapt. I became a doormat, a martyr, self-sacrificial, quiet, passive. I allowed the abuse. I fawned, thinking it would earn me love. I was codependent, overgiving. I took the abuse, and I would abuse myself too. Even though I couldn't split on the inside, I still thought that something was very, very wrong with me, and I still caused a lot of damage to myself. I abused my own vessel instead, self-harming, taking on everyone's burdens, shame, shadows. I believed what they told me, that my very essence meant that I deserved to be punished, that I deserved the pain, that I deserved the abuse, that I was undeserving of love, respect, stability, safety, respect, and clarity, that I wasn't allowed to have boundaries, that I wasn't allowed to say no. I even tried to erase myself out of this existence, thinking that if I no longer existed, the black holes around me would finally be happy, satisfied, that they would love me. But then I woke up. I gave myself love, stability, respect, safety, and protection. I started to see what surrounded me, and I took myself, my inner child, I reparented her, and I fled her to safety. And I will continue to protect my children and my inner child from those who have destroyed that very energy within themselves. This is how black hole souls are created. And everything they've carried out on their inner child, their soul, they'll enact on yours too. Because they see that innocence, that purity, that divinity as the cause for their deepest wounds, as the cause for their deepest pain, as weakness, as the cause for their fracture. They don't realize the true cause is the very thing they've become and embodied. When they split and attack their only connection to Source, to God, they've become the cause and the effect. Please protect your children, both the child within and the children you've brought into this world. Anyone who is split and abuses their inner child will do the very same to your children and will do the very same to your inner child within. It is impulse. They've been wired to see that part of a person as being the cause for their pain. So me being someone who fully embodies my inner child, like I'm very, there's no split here. I have always been, and so it makes sense that people who carry a genuine vulnerability about them, authenticity, that creative energy, that life force, people who just naturally carry that and have that childlike wonder, they're going to be deeply triggering to a black hole soul energy.